Did you know that you don't need a heavy Dutch oven to make sourdough bread? This loaf was made using a loaf pan, and it couldn't be easier. Today, I'm going to show you how to make artisan sourdough bread using a regular loaf pan instead. Now, there's a couple tips and tricks that you need to know, and I can't wait to show you. All right, let's talk about what you're going to need to bake your bread. You will need a loaf pan, but not just one. You're actually going to need two, even if you're only making one loaf of bread, and I will show you what to do with the second one in just a minute. The other thing you're going to want is a little spray bottle with some water in it, and that's pretty much it. You will need something to score your bread with, so I'm going to use just a bread lom, but you could also use a really sharp knife if you don't have a bread lom. And that is it. 2 loaf pans, some water, and something to score your dough with. Now, this is optional. This is a parchment paper liner, and I like to put these in my loaf pans just because it makes the cleanup process a lot easier, and I am all about making things easier these days. Now, one thing that I love about making my bread in a loaf pan versus a Dutch oven is that your loaf is going to be the perfect size for sandwiches and the perfect size for the toaster. So no more sawing through big artisan loaves of sourdough bread, then having to cut the slices in half to fit them in the actual toaster. When you bake your bread in a loaf pan, they're going to be the perfect size slices, and the sandwiches are actually going to fit in that sandwich size baggie when you're packing lunches, which is just perfect. So I find it super convenient, and honestly, it has really become one of my favorite ways to make sourdough bread. Now, I've got some dough here, and it is done with bulk fermentation. So we need to start dumping this dough out so I can show you how to shape it for the loaf pan. Okay, this is my easy artisan sourdough bread recipe, and I doubled the recipe. I'll put that recipe link down in the description for you in case you haven't made this bread yet, but it is fantastic. You're gonna love it. It's just called Easy Artisan Sourdough Bread. Now, this dough is done bulk fermenting. So I made the dough, did all the mixing, I did all my stretch and folds, and then I put it in a container to bulk ferment, and it is done. Now, if you don't know how to make sourdough and you are brand new, I have a ton of sourdough beginner videos where I literally walk you through the entire process step by step. So I'll put one of those up here. You're gonna wanna watch that. But as soon as your dough is done bulk fermenting, just take it out of the container. And now I'm gonna divide this in half because I have enough dough here for 2 loaves. Let me get my dough scraper wet because that will make it a lot less sticky. And I'm not gonna weigh this out or anything because this is just for us at home, and I am fine just eyeballing it. I love these dough scrapers. They are so good for so many things. Just using it to slice that dough right in half. Okay, so now I've got both loaves of my dough, and I'm just gonna do some pre-shaping. Now, you're gonna pre-shape this the same exact way that you would normally shape your artisan sourdough bread, okay? So I'm gonna start here with my hand down here at my hip. I'm gonna rotate my bench scraper all the way around to the top and use my other hand as a guide to push it off of my bench scraper. And again, I will show you how to do this in detail in those beginner step-by-step sourdough videos, but the purpose of pre-shaping is to organize your dough, create a little bit of structure, and get a little bit of surface tension on the top of your loaf. And this will just make the final shaping a lot easier, okay? So there's number one. And isn't that kind of amazing how you go from having this like sloppy dough to this really nice round that's very organized and ready to be shaped? Love that. Okay, so I'm gonna set this one aside, and we'll do that pre-shaping one more time. Here we go. And my dough is really not very sticky. You'll notice I'm not flouring my work surface. If you've properly bulk fermented your dough and you're using a good recipe, you're using a high protein bread flour, you really won't need to flour your work surface. Also, we don't want to add flour to the dough at this point anyways. Using a little bit of water is a better option if your dough is sticky. And also using your dough scraper or bench scraper as much as possible and touching the dough a lot less is going to be very helpful for you if your dough is really sticky, which is also one of the other reasons why I love using a loaf pan. Sometimes we think we've done the entire process right, and then bulk fermentation happens, which is the make it or break it moment for sourdough, and we turn that dough out onto our work surface, and it is sticky and loose and gloopy and like impossible to work with. There is dough everywhere. You're just making a giant mess. And a lot of people at that point will tell me like, Heather, I just threw my dough away. I gave up. And I always say, don't throw your dough away. Always bake the bread, because with sourdough, you really never know. It might just turn out. But the best thing to do when you've got really sticky dough, it's loose, it's falling apart, is bake it in a loaf pan. And the reason why is that the tall, straight sides of the loaf pan are going to force the loaf to rise up. There's nowhere for it to fall flat. It's going to be stuck in this loaf pan. It has nowhere to go but up. So if your dough is feeling really loose, shaggy, messy, you're thinking maybe it's not gonna work out, don't throw it away. Just take the time to bake it in the loaf pan because you never know how it's gonna turn out. Now this is a 9" by 5" loaf pan, okay, or 1.5 pound loaf pan, and I like this size best when I am making my artisan sourdough bread in a loaf pan. So I've got my dough pre-shaped here. I'm gonna let these sit about 20 minutes on the counter. I'm not going to cover them. I'm gonna leave them uncovered because I want the dough to form a light skin on the surface so that when we do our final shaping and we shape them for the loaf pan, it'll be a lot easier to handle this dough. This is also gonna give the gluten time to relax, which will allow us to stretch it out again and get it ready for the final shaping. So I'm gonna come back in about 20 minutes and I will show you how I shape these to put in the loaf pan. If you wanna make beautiful sourdough bread just like this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I've got tons of step-by-step sourdough videos, and head over to my website to get my free sourdough beginner's guide. It's keepitsweetkitchen.com, and I'll link it down below. My beginner's guide has my easy artisan sourdough recipe and all of my tips and tricks that are perfect for a beginner sourdough baker. All right, let's get to final shaping. Now, before we final shape this dough, we need to figure out where we're gonna put it, and we have two options for that. The first one is that you can final shape it and put it in a lightly floured banneton basket, then cover it and put it in the refrigerator, and then when you want to bake it, you'll just take it straight from the banneton basket and put it into your loaf pan. Or you can just do the cold ferment straight in the loaf pan, okay? And you don't even actually have to cold ferment, you could totally skip that. So for this one, I'm gonna do both ways and show you how that works. I'm gonna final shape this one and I'm gonna put it in the loaf pan. Now, you're gonna wanna make sure that you prepare your loaf pan. You can grease it generously, flour it, whatever it is that you normally do with your loaf pan. I happen to love these parchment paper liners. Like I said, they make cleanup so much easier, but you are going to need a second loaf pan when you bake your bread, okay? So you're gonna put your bread in one loaf pan, and then you need another loaf pan that's going to be a top, and this is like having the top of your Dutch oven. You're gonna invert it, put it upside down, and put it right over the top of the loaf pan that your bread is in, and this is going to trap the steam as your dough bakes. So this is kind of what makes a little Dutch oven out of your loaf pan. So you will need two loaf pans. Now, I use my better loaf pan to actually bake the bread, and then this is like an old loaf pan that I don't even really use to bake in anymore, but I just have laying around, and I just use that as my loaf pan lid, and it works great, okay? But one thing I want to point out, I have a little bit of butter here in a paper towel. As my bread rises in the oven, there's a possibility that it's going to hit the sides of this loaf pan, so I am going to grease those just in case my loaf gets so tall that it hits the sides of this loaf pan. I don't want it to stick because then when I try to take the lid off, it's gonna ruin my bread, okay? So just give it a light coating of some butter. You could use some non-stick spray, whatever it is that you prefer to use. You just want to make sure that both pans are prepared, okay? So now my loaf pans are ready and I've got my banneton basket, and let's get to final shaping. Now, when you're shaping for a loaf pan, it's going to be a little bit different than when you're shaping for an artisan loaf. So let's start with this one. Now, it's not sticky at all because it's been sitting out on my counter for about 20 minutes. I'm going to flip this over so the side that has formed the light skin is on the bottom, and then I'm going to stretch this out into a rectangle. I'm stretching it out a little bit wider than I normally would, and you'll see why in a second, because I want to be able to roll this loaf up, sort of like I would do a sandwich loaf, but I'm not using a rolling pin because this is not dough made with commercial yeast. It would stick all over a rolling pin. So instead, I'm just using my hands to gently stretch the dough out. I'm going to guess this is about 12 inches wide and maybe 8 inches tall, and I'm good with that. All right, I'm going to put my loaf pan in front of me, and that might block your view. You guys can put your loaf pan in front of you so that you can see, and you're making sure that you're folding your loaf so that it will match the size of your loaf pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one side, I'm going to stretch it out, and I'm going to fold it down and into the center and just pat it down on that seam. Then I'm going to take the other side and do the same thing. Stretch it out a little bit, then fold it over and have the two seams meet. There we go. And then when I roll this up, it's going to fit my loaf pan perfectly, okay? And that's what we want. So then I'm just gonna roll this up. Now, when I roll this up, I'm being pretty firm with rolling it, but I'm not smashing it down because I don't wanna smash out all the air that I built up during bulk fermentation, but you also don't have to be super, super gentle, okay? I am rolling pretty tightly. All right, so there we go. Now I'm gonna pinch the outside seams because if I don't do that when this bakes, it's gonna turn out with this kind of weird circle thing here that I don't like. So I'm just gonna pinch this. And then normally when we put our dough in our banneton basket, we put it seam side up. But because this is going right in our loaf pan, we're going to leave it seam side down because the part on the top is actually gonna be the part that we are baking with. Now I have found when you're using these loaf pan liners, it's easier just to set the liner down, pick up your dough and set it right in your loaf pan liner, and then pick that up. Boom, there you go. This could be covered and I can put it in my refrigerator for the long cold ferment and then take it out tomorrow whenever I'm ready to bake it, put my other loaf pan on top and bake it. And I'll show you one other trick that we'll do with that. But for today, I'm actually gonna bake this right away for you. So I'm just gonna set this aside. You know, you don't have to do the cold ferment. You can skip that if you want. And the next loaf we're gonna shape and we're gonna put in a banneton basket, okay? So I'm gonna shape it exactly the same. So you'll get to kind of see that twice. I'm stretching it out. Whenever my sister watches me like handle my sourdough, she's always like, I can't believe you're just grabbing it and pulling it, you know, and you're not afraid of tearing it. And I think some of that just comes from the longer that you've been making sourdough, the dough handling skills get a lot easier. And I try to always mention that I've been doing this for a really long time. I have made thousands and thousands of loaves of sourdough bread. I mean, the last time I actually counted, it was like 14,000 loaves. So it's probably definitely more since then. And the more you do it, the easier it gets to handle the dough. So if your dough is really sticky and it's fighting you a little bit, use your dough scraper, make sure you get it wet, and just do the best you can to get it directly into your loaf pan. Okay, so I'm gonna pull from the outside, fold it into the center, press it down just a little bit, pull from the outside, press it into the center. The seams are meeting here. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm gonna roll it up. There we go. I'm gonna pinch the outside edges. When you pinch these outside edges, you might hear a little bit of popping. That's a few bubbles popping. You don't need to worry about that. It's okay. And then because this one's going in my banneton basket, I am going to flip it so that the seam side is up. And then I will cover that and put it in the refrigerator for the cold ferment, okay? Now, let's say I have this in the refrigerator, cold ferment is done, and I wanna bake it. How do I get it in my loaf pan? Easy, flip it right out, and then you can just set it right into your prepared loaf pan. Okay? All right, there we go. This one's gonna go in the fridge, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you exactly how to bake your sourdough in the loaf pan. Okay, it's time to bake our sourdough loaf, but the first thing that we need to do is score our bread. So you're gonna score your sandwich loaf the same way that you would score your artisan sourdough bread that you're baking in a Dutch oven. It does need to be scored because it needs a place for the steam to escape, which is actually a good thing here because we're gonna be putting a lid on this and we want that steam to actually escape and get trapped in this lid and create that steam that we need to get a good crispy crust on this and for the bread to actually rise properly. Okay, so I've got my really sharp bread lom here. This is just a razor blade on a stick, but it works great for scoring bread. I highly recommend you get one. They're very inexpensive. I'm going to start at the top of the loaf. And I'm gonna score all the way on the surface from the top to the bottom, going about a ½ inch deep. And I'm gonna hold my blade at a slight angle, okay? There we go. I'm gonna come back in and just do it one more time. When you're scoring warmer dough, it can be a little bit harder to score than if the dough had come straight from the refrigerator. All right, now here's the next part, and this is really, really important. We're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, normally I bake my sourdough bread at 450 degrees Fahrenheit, but it does take a little bit longer to bake this bread in a loaf pan than it does when it goes into a really hot Dutch oven. Now our loaf pan's not preheated, but our oven is very hot, 425 degrees. I've scored my bread. The last thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray the top of this loaf with a little bit of water, and that's just gonna help to generate some additional steam in the oven, okay? So I'm gonna spray it. There we go, not too much. And then I'm gonna put my other lid on top, my other loaf pan upside down on top, and there we go. Now I have my little homemade Dutch oven with my loaf pans. This is gonna get baked at 425 with the lid on for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to very carefully take the lid off and bake it for another 20 minutes or until the internal temperature is at least 205 degrees. It takes longer to bake in a loaf pan. If while this lid is off and the bread is still baking, I look in the oven and it looks very dark, that's okay. Just put the lid back on. It's kind of like having a little foil shield over your loaf if it starts getting too brown, okay? But another thing that's really helpful is if you get one of these really inexpensive digital thermometers. I think this one is like $10 or $12. And then that way you will always be able to make sure that you have fully baked your bread, because there's nothing worse than taking your bread out of the oven, thinking it's done, slicing into it, and it's not. So, okay, I'm gonna go put this in the oven, 30 minutes lid on, 20 minutes lid off, and then I'll be right back. And here we go. You've got a beautiful loaf of artisan sourdough bread baked in a loaf pan, no Dutch oven needed. We have a crispy crust, it's golden brown, and it's the perfect size for sandwiches and toast. But let me show you what the inside of this loaf looks like, because another thing happens when you bake your bread in a loaf pan. You don't get those giant holes just because the bread can't quite expand as much that you might get if you baked your bread in a Dutch oven. But I actually like that because that means that your butter, your peanut butter, your jam doesn't actually fall through all of those giant holes. So I'm gonna slice this and show you what the inside looks like. This is my little slicer. I'm telling you, if you make a lot of bread, this is like money well spent. I think this is under $50 and I absolutely love it. Okay, so there's the first slice. Let me cut one slice for you. I mean, could it be any easier to slice your bread? Seriously, it's so easy. And look at the inside of this loaf. We've got beautiful sourdough bread. It's artisan. All it was flour, water, salt, and sourdough starter. And it's the perfect size for the toaster. Thank you so much for baking with me today. I hope you try baking your sourdough bread in a loaf pan. I think it is the perfect method for anybody that wants sandwich-sized slices or any new sourdough baker, because it really helps your bread to bake up tall instead of baking up flat like a pancake, which is exactly what we don't want. And if you're looking for more sourdough videos, I'll go ahead and link one of them here. I've got tons of step-by-step tutorials where I walk you through the entire process. And don't forget to check out my website, keepitsweetkitchen.com, where I've got tons of sourdough recipes.